Be awesome if we've got it going. Let me pull up some chat here. See if we can see people talking. Chat here. I hear myself talking here. Okay, so we should have an event going. Pull it up. Gotta love figuring this stuff out. Got 32 viewers, it says. So I'm pulling up the guys. Hold on. Mute your second window. Got it muted. The Weekend Homestead. So you shouldn't be able to hear me watching me, basically. So sorry I had a problem. We had to get, I have Firefox on here, and apparently Firefox is having some problems with the software that I've got that does the live streaming. So guys, welcome to the first ever scheduled live video by the Hunting Grounds. We're going to start doing this every single Monday if this goes over well, and we're going to come up with the topic throughout the week, and then we're going to bring up the topic here, and it can be anything and everything that you want it to, whether it's land management, it could be how to set up your tree stands, to how to film your own hunt, how to edit your hunt. We can do a whole lot of different things. As we grow, we're going to get better at this. I'm in my house right now. I've just got the living room back behind me for the backdrop, and eventually I'm going to have a little studio, but we haven't finished that part of the house yet. So, so guys, if you can see everything, just give me a shout out on there. Say, hey, we can see everything. Let's get some topics going. Decided to start with land management this video because that's so much of what we are doing right now. You guys have been really loyal about watching our management series, and I figured this would give you guys the option to ask a little bit more in-depth questions if you had anything, or what we're using here, or what hasn't worked. There we go. So Weekend Homestead says, Jeremy, you might need to close and open back up. Can see everything. Hey, Steven. That's awesome. True Outdoors says, hey, Steven. That's great. So you guys are seeing stuff, and we're rocking and rolling on here. So I've got the comments flowing in. Let's get some questions going and see if we can learn from each other. And if I'm drinking anything, this is actually just lemonade in my old Mason cup here. So do you use fall food plots? My gosh, they're coming in quick. Fall food plots. Yes, I do food plots year round on this property, 365 days a year. I've got food plots out, and I do fall food plots. This year we'll have standing soybeans, so they'll still have the pods on them. We'll also be broadcasting some, and no-till drilling, both broadside. It's got some brassicas and everything in there. My gosh, these are going to go on here so fast. It's going to be crazy. But yeah, we do fall food plots as well. So food plots all year long. Best camera that won't break the bank. We use Spy Point. There you go. Got Spy Point right there. I've actually got a camera sitting over here. If you guys want one that's going to save you money in the long run, and it's not too bad on the price point for what you are getting, you have to check out Spy Point solar camera here. So this is Spy Point solar. It's got a built-in solar panel in here. I've never once put batteries in any of these. You can if you want, as kind of backup, just in case, because if you have it on video mode and stuff like that, it is going to use more of this, especially at night. But you can put batteries in them, but I've never put batteries in mine. I've always had really good success. I think it's like 10 to 12 megapixel pictures. You have video, you have audio, great photos, and I think this is going to hit you somewhere around that $200 mark in there. Now, Spy Point also has some really good price point cameras that are going to hit that $99 mark, and I believe like an Iron 10 and stuff like that. And they do, I have a lot of those cameras up, and they do phenomenal pictures and photos. They just use batteries, but the battery life's really great in them. So that's what I would suggest. I've been using them for years. So here we go. I'm trying to go through all you guys' comments on here. Wow. Should I broadcast wheat over clover for fall. Definitely do it. I've done it for 2 seasons now, and I've loved my results from it. It also kind of helps like with weeds in your food plot, and at the same time, you're never emptying that dinner plate, so you aren't ever going from 0 clover to working the ground and putting in a fall food plot. You're broadcasting right over the top. It does great things for taking that excess nitrogen out of the soil, and just it's a great combination. I do it on every single one of my clover plots. Will you be planting plots in September any? We'll probably plant most of our food plots around hopefully the last part of August if our temperatures are working for us and we have rain in the forecast. Otherwise, probably the beginning of September, yeah, we'll have to put some in there. So we'll just have to see. I always play by the weather. I never plant by a certain time of year. I see what the weather's doing and what the potential forecast is coming up and making sure I'm getting good soil seed contact and a lot of moisture on there. Want to take me hunting with you? Man, I would love to take every single one of you guys hunting with me. I actually hunt with a lot of viewers. That's where if you guys watch the show and you see me travel somewhere, it's just hunting with viewers that have more land than they know what to do with, and I go out there and have a good time with them. So I do hunt with a lot of people. If you're around this area, you never know. How many videos do you have? 380? We're 300-something videos on YouTube right now currently. Didn't you drill the Eagle Seed broadside mix into clover last fall? How were your results? Did it affect your clover stand at all? Okay, good question. That's from Bow Hunting for Life. Really good question I did no-till drill. It's from Eagle Seed. I no-till drilled that into my clover plot last year and had okay results. I would actually say I was slightly disappointed with the results, to be honest, and I learned from it. The reason being, I think my clover stand was too tall. Now, this is a clover stand that's a mixed clover. It's not just all white clover that goes dormant really early. It's a mix of clover, so it kind of stays green a lot longer into the season. In doing that, I left it anywhere from probably 8 inches, maybe even higher in some areas. And I think what had happened was when I no-till drilled that in, it was semi-dry, but it still should have germinated. It didn't germinate at the rate that I wanted it to, and I think maybe the clover shaded some of that stuff out before it was ever able to grow. And then as the clover went dormant, that stuff was already dead. So I'm still going to do that this year, but this year I'm going to go into my clover plot. I'm going to mow it all the way down as low as I can, and then go in and no-till drill it. That way it gets that sun hitting those plants as soon as they come out, and hopefully it just does great that way. So there you go. Good question. Do you ever have any hog problems? No, I don't have any hog problems here. Where can I buy a shirt? So we have links. Go to our website, www.thg-tv.com. I'll have all the video links and everything to our merchandise and everything down below in this video. You can click on that. And you'll want to hurry and do that. We probably are not going to have shirts for a month or two after this week because we are ending production with the company that we're going with. And we've got some really cool deals coming up where we're going to have some merchandise that's just going to be awesome, and it's going to be out there everywhere. So we got some cool deals coming up, and I'll fill you guys in on that as it comes in. I told you we're going to get a little off the track here, but we're going to try to stay on the management topic. So I'm trying to get through. I'm going to try to answer every single question. Love my hat, says Whitetail Harvester. Do you have trespassers? Yeah, I saw your video. Yep. Not really so much anymore. I've got a lot of cameras out, and I've got a lot of neighbors that watch really, really hard. I mean, I have caught people on camera before, but once it was brought up, then they know I'm coming on again. So how often do you check your trail cameras? It just depends how often I can, really. So right now, maybe once a week, something like that. But I have mine in low impact areas, so I'm not like busting deer out there. A lot on the field edges or right up and down my driveway or my four-wheeler trail, so I can easily get on that stuff, get off, and check the camera and get back on and not bust any deer. Have you ever got any mountain lions on camera? I know they're around here in Missouri, says Hunter. I have not. About, I don't know, how the crow flies, a mile or two from here, one of my neighbors got a mountain lion on camera and saw it. It's on a place that I used to turkey hunt. Southern white tails. My gosh, I'm trying to keep up with this. These just keep going and going and going. In your opinion, how do you think it would do if I broadcasted the seed right into a standing grass field, then cut the grass down so it lays on top of the seed? I think I may hit that topic a little bit on one of my latest videos. But so you guys saw me do the video where I rolled the seed into the ground. It's doing phenomenal. I showed you guys the results in those videos and everything. If you haven't seen those videos, go check them out. There are some different options that I could have done there. What I would probably suggest doing is you still want to spray. I like spraying the grass because the grass is just going to have a big competition there. So what I would probably suggest doing is, especially if you got like a boom sprayer or a sprayer that's going to go on your four-wheeler where you can actually get high enough above the grass to get a good spray on the grass, you could definitely go in. You could spray the grass and then seed it, or seed it, then spray the grass and then mow it a day or two later, because that germination is going to take a little bit of time. But then you can mow over it, and then you're going to get that cover on the seed. It should do pretty good. You're just going to have to look at your soil seed contact, whatever it's able to fall down. Is it going to hit enough soil, or is it just on grass stuff and then it's not going to germinate there? So you've really got to take a look. What's your favorite food plot to plant? Right now I've really loved Eagle Seed soybeans. If you can plant a large enough plot during the summer, you get a lot of deer to hit on them during the winter. You've got your standing bead pods that are still on there, and then I go through and broadcast directly over the top of those, before too far into fall, late summer, I broadcast over the top of them with like some brassicas and wheat and stuff, and it comes up underneath. I really like that. I like a mix that Eagle Seed has out there. It's their broadside mix, and it's got turnips, rape, I think it's got some wheat, and it's got some soybean in it. It's got a little everything, but it's a really good mix out there. Do you prefer DSLR or camcorders for filming? If you're filming your own hunt, if it's just you filming, it's too hard to do the DSLR. You can do it. I could do it. It's just not going to be as great because you're relying on trying to hunt and film at the same time, especially bow hunting. Those DSLRs, you're going to have to manually zoom in and out with your lens, and if you've got it on manual focus and you're working that, and it's so many times it's going to be out of focus. If you're self-filming, I always use, right now I'm using a G40. I've always got that, and then I've got my DSLR as a secondary camera angle. Now, if I got a cameraman with me, then we've got them both, and we've got them set up. We can do whatever we want. But I always suggest getting like a handy cam for filming yourself. Travel to Alberta to hunt. I would love to. That's a dream hunt for me, is to go up to Alberta and deer hunt. Got my first, oh my goodness, I lost him. Got my first bow kill Saturday, 125. Holy cow, that's awesome. I need to kill some hogs. How many times a year do you cut the clover down? Okay, so good question there. That's from the Weekend Homestead. It just depends. So this year I have cut my clover twice. First off was to get the grasses. I broadcasted wheat over it, and then I also had some grass growing in. So the first cut was to kind of control that, get that clover back to kind of being more dormant, or not dormant, more dominant. And then I actually brush hogged it again here recently because I had a rain, a good rain the day before I did it, and 2 days after I brush hogged it, I had another rain. So I wasn't going to stress the clover too much, but I'd already sprayed the grasses that were starting to come back in, and to kind of control them and to cut them down where they'd have as much sunlight as possible. The clover, could explode again there. So I've cut it twice, and probably now I won't cut it probably the rest of the summer. I've controlled my grasses, and we're going to have so much stress from the heat and stuff, and I'm sure we're going to be in droughts kind of like we are even now. It's been kind of, had a really good soaker rain, that I'm not going to probably cut the clover again probably all summer. So it might be the last time until I want to plant my fall plots. When are you putting your ponds on your land? So loggers have officially finished. I got my last check yesterday. And we're going to be putting in ponds on the property here as soon as the dozer can work me in. So he's got to come back in. He's going to clean up my roads that the loggers used and made, and now I have access throughout most of my property, which is awesome. And the limited resource that I have here on this property is water. I don't have water on top of my hills, and so we're going to be building probably 2 to 3 pretty good sized ponds on the property here. Have you thought of trying to drill your soybeans into your clover stands? I have done that. I experimented with that last year as well. So last spring, I drilled in the soybeans into the clover, and at that time, maybe it's just a variety of mix that I have, but the clover exceeded the growth of like the soybeans so much that it shaded some of them out, so they didn't come up great. And where they did, there was so much competition with, I think, with just probably the moisture and the nutrients in the soil, because my clover is just so thick that the soybeans just really weren't getting tall. I had next to it, I had a soybean field that was just no-till drilled. I had sprayed it, so there was no competition. Those soybeans were anywhere from, at the time, were probably 3 foot high, where I was trying to get 6 inches out of the ones that were in the clover. So I did not do that again. That was from Bow Hunting for Life again. He's got a lot of good questions. Stephen, I don't even know how to say your last name, but Stephen, what's the best way to promote browse growth in an area that's mostly cold season grasses? To promote browse, I don't know how you. I mean, you got to have the deer in there for one, but you know, if you're doing a lot of grasses just aren't really digestible. They aren't real palatable for deer. It's not something that they highly are sought after. They like really a lot of broadleaf, so much more nutrients in them. They're digestible. So I would suggest getting in there and maybe breaking up some of those grasses and putting some broadleaf in there, or I don't know what to do there. Maybe go in with the control burn and try to promote some new growth, because you're going to get a variation of species coming back, and they love that new growth, and you probably get some native broadleafs coming in there too. Favorite plant for food plots? NH Outdoorsman, he's just getting on there. Right now, for summertime, I'm going soybeans. Soybeans and clover is what I've got on my property. Now, if you go into the winter, then, you know, I'm doing turnips, rape, wheat, and that's probably some of the main things that I'm going with here on the property. And it's the Eagle seed mix is what I actually use. When you broadcasted your Eagle seed soybeans, did you have good results? Yes, I did. I've always had good results. For a long, long time, I actually broadcasted my soybeans. I actually worked the ground, and I broadcasted, and I would drag over them. But I always planted heavier than like, say, for example, a bag of Eagle seed soybeans, it's 50-pound bag. That's made for, I believe it's 50, it might be 40. But it's made for, their bags are made for an acre. I would usually take probably an acre and a half of soybeans and plant them for a single acre. I always planted heavier because some of them just aren't going to get that good soil seed contact. Birds are going to pick up some, rodents are going to pick up some are just going to be damaged in that whole process. So you always plant a little heavier. But yeah, I always had good results there. Okay, my property is 22 acres. This is from Jody. All golden. Oh my gosh, I lost you there. Rose bushes. I get great movement, but during bow season, but during their rifle, there's all the vegetation and cover. Not getting all day movement. Help! It's tough when you aren't getting all day movement. I'm sorry. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this. I feel like I'm just like rambling, trying to answer all these. But hopefully you guys are enjoying this and getting something out of it. But when you're doing something like that, if you aren't getting all day movement, maybe that buck's just not actually in that. That's maybe not his home range during the daytime. So what I would suggest is getting your cameras. If you're using Spy Point, which I use Point. If you got your Spy Point cameras out there or whatever you got, move them around, see if you can capture that buck in daylight activity. That's one thing that I did on my property this year. I did not go after a single buck or sit in a single stand where a buck was coming in if he was not coming in during shooting hours. and it just allowed the pressure to stay off that area. I wasn't educating that deer that I was in that area, and it worked to my advantage this year. Otherwise, see what kind of limited resource or limited like variety of browse is in that area. So if you're around agricultural crops, see what they don't have and plant it in your food plot that will be there during that fall, and that will give you that added attraction. But you definitely probably need to plant some food plots, plant some late season food plots that are going to bloom late season or going to be like in their prime late season, and you can really capitalize on that. Hey, it's Steve. It says Falcon Hunters on there. What editing software do you use? Says MAJ Productions. I use Final Cut Pro 10, the Weekend Homestead. Any suggestions for land management for property that backs up the public land? We have a significant property line against our 2,000 acres of public land. Suggestions for in from the public. That goes back to any time that I've ever walked, and that's from the Weekend Homestead. Anytime that I've ever kind of looked at a piece of property and figured out what needs to happen to get the deer into there, I look at limited resources. I'll try to look at the other properties surrounding it, seeing what they don't have that I could put on my property to attract those deer. It could be water sources. It could be a sanctuary area. It could be a different variety of a food source, like of maybe an agricultural food source that they don't have on the other properties. That's what I would suggest is look at those public land areas that you've got around you, see what they have that is so attractive to the deer, and see if you can't start putting that in your property or finding something that they don't have out there and putting it on your property as well. That's what I would suggest there. I don't know, being that it's public land, I would think that the pressure, if you do it right and you have a lot of sanctuary area on your property, the deer are going to start feeling that unpressuredness on your property. So you definitely have to have sanctuary areas, especially on public land around you. Anytime that they're pressured, you know, and a lot of you guys know, is like if you're hunting public land, there's those areas that people just don't go to. And deer quickly realize those unpressured areas. If you can put those unpressured areas or make your whole property that unpressured area, where the deer are going to come as soon as season starts, they're going to come off the public land onto yours. So that would be my suggestion there. Should I till the ground when planting plots, or is it bad? It's a good question. You guys ready for a rant? Here we go. Here's a rant for you. You know, the hunting industry tries to change a lot of things out there, I think, sometimes, or people in the hunting industry. And one of it is just like, you know, working dirt is bad. I'll tell you, if that's the way that you can plant a food plot, is getting out there and working the dirt, and that's the way that you have it, and you can plant it and you can do it right, and you know, try not to destroy the environment too much or allow too much for runoff and everything, then do it. That's awesome. It's not bad. It's the way that we've done it forever. Now there's better ways of doing it, but you can still do it just as well that way. I forever only had a old tractor, and I had a cultivator and a disc, and that's what I did. Is I worked soil, planted food plots, and then, you know, I'd have to do that once a year because I broadcast over the fall, and it did really well, and I wouldn't have to disc twice a year, destroy the soil twice a year. And then that spring I'd come back and work that food plot back in the ground, put all that organic matter back in, and really start building up the soil. So you can do it, and it can do really, really well. So it is not bad. Whitetail harvester, have you ever used the seed, clover, crush, or shot plot deer seed? Shot plot never used. If you're looking at like crush, like the crush clover, probably like Lee and Tiffany's, or they probably come from Throw and Grow or from Wild Game. I don't know, Evolved Habitat. I don't know. Any of those? Yeah, I've used a lot of those, and they do work really well. I use a lot of them for like little kill plots. I'm gonna see how far away I am from catching up on. Oh my gosh, I'm a long ways from catching up on these. Okay, here we go. Do you hunt over a watering hole? Not so much here because I don't really have watering holes right now, but I am where I will be designing my ponds in that you guys will see on the videos that will be coming up. I will be kind of putting ponds around areas where there's bedding and food sources. So pretty much I will be hunting over a lot of water sources. So I'm going to be hunting over areas that have food, water, and shelter all just right there. Would you get any more pro stuff, or do you have enough right now? We always add when I feel like people are right to the show. We have our applications on our website, tsg-tv.com. You have to be on the computer to download them, but they have to meet our criteria, and I really have to have a good feeling that they're a good fit for the show. We aren't necessarily just like, we aren't one of those shows that have to have hundreds of field staff or hundreds of pro staff. We want everybody that is on the team to be a good part of the team and really be a contributor. So I take a lot of pride in my team. I've got a great team out there, and I'm really picky when it comes to the team members. Brian, what kind of weed killer do you use for the different kinds of weeds? So I wonder if I've got the mix. I can't even remember the mix that I've got on it. Glyphosate, or glyphosate, however you want to say it. That's primarily what I use. I get the off-brand of Roundup, and that's what I do to spray. And I've got another one that does the grasses. I've got a new video out there. I think it's the latest video. If you guys go watch it, I show exactly what I use on spraying the food plots there. Do you do deer surveys every year? I would like to. Sometimes I get busy and I can't do as many deer surveys, but I keep my cameras out 365 days a year. I check them all year long because I just enjoy it. I love watching them drop their antlers and growing their antlers and having fawns. I like seeing them through the whole thing. So I have a pretty good idea of what is on the property and my buck to doe ratios and stuff on the property, or where my population is getting to. But probably every year, I'd like to. Last year, I don't even know if I was able to, but I probably will this year. I'll kind of do a trail camera survey. Once the bucks get more established antlers on their head and they become more identifiable for sure. I got some new land in Georgia. How do I know where the best place to hunt on the property is? Well, that's getting out there and trial and error, Trenton. Get out there, walk your land, look for signs, look for easy corridors where the deer are probably naturally going to travel. You're probably going to see a lot of sign in that area. And, for one, use a great tool that you guys have out there. People have trail cameras. I'd suggest at least invest in one of these if you've never invested in one. Get a trail camera, put them out. They're going to do a whole lot of work when you aren't able to do work. And start trying to put together a pattern, make a map of the property and start pinning down where you start seeing the deer and where they're bedding, and try to come up with a pattern. And I think you'll find the place to hunt there. But like I said, some of it's trial and error. Sometimes you're going to get out there and you're going to think you have the best spot in the whole world. You've hung a tree stand. You're going to climb up there and no deer is going to even walk close to your stand. And you're going to see them all on the other ridge. So there, you've learned. Take down that tree stand, move it to the other ridge, set up, and hopefully get a kill. Oh, there you go, right below it. I want to do some scouting on that land soon. Oh, there you go. I think I answered your question for you. Where are you filming your YouTube video? Phone or computer? I'm just actually using the computer. Eventually, I'm going to get a full camera set up to do these live videos if they go over really well. Doing great. I really enjoy listening. Good, because I feel like I'm talking 1,000,000 miles an hour. I'm glad you guys are enjoying this. I probably have lost people, but it is what it is. Awesome so far. What kind of topography map do you prefer? Also, I recently discovered an older food plot that had clover and soybeans in it many years ago. What do you recommend I plant now? So topography map, I don't really use any certain app. I have a couple apps on my phone. I honestly couldn't even tell you what they are. I don't use them till deer season. But any topography map will work for you if you're just looking at topography. Planting in them now, as far as your food plot, you got an old food plot. It just depends when you're going to start working it. Early in the spring, I would have planted soybeans or clover. Also depends on the size. If it's a smaller food plot, I'd say under an acre, I'd go to clover or something like that. And then if it's bigger than an acre, go ahead and plant some soybeans in it. And then in the fall, you can plant some brassicas and everything in there. Does Eagle Seed have a website? They do. It's eagleseed.com. I am able to broadcast, roll, and cut, but not able to drill. I forever wasn't even able to drill or roll or hardly anything there. So yeah, what does that do? Your first super chat. Oh, that's exciting. From the Weekend Homestead. He says, buy yourself a beer. Great job on the live stream. That's from the Weekend Homestead. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. That's a cool little thing up there. If you guys feel like I'm not hitting your comment, you can leave a super chat and it pops up and I make sure that I get it. So I can make sure to answer your video or your question before this video gets done. The video will get done. I'm just cutting it off at 9. It's not going any longer than 9. Okay, so we're going to keep going through here. Oh man, here we go. So I'm trying to, a few areas, this is bow hunting for life. He's done a lot of good questions, or she. We've had a few areas in our property that are overgrown hardwood saplings and thick brush. Would you try to convert it to native grass and forbs with few trees or leave it? Depends what you're looking for. Now, what did the deer, I would get in there and see what the deer are doing in that area. Do you have browse in that area? Are they bedding in that area currently? What is it to them? If it's an area that they aren't using, then you want to make it an area that they're using. So it just depends. You know, look around that property too. Do you have other areas that are already full of forbs and broadleafs and stuff like that? Do we have another one pop up there? No? Okay. If you do, then maybe you want to have this more as like a hinge cut area and more bedding. So just look at it. I probably, if it's an area of just, it's really, really thick like you're explaining, I imagine it's just nothing growing underneath, then I would convert it to a hinge cut bedding area or take it all the way out and put some native grass, let the native grass grow up and do it that way. I'm looking at buying. What was that? I'm looking at buying a couple of sections of land. How many acres to a section would you put into food plots? Good question. You're probably from like out west if you're looking at buying sections of land because we don't have sections of land around here. They're just little bitty, all weird angles and shapes. But if you're looking at buying any land and you want to manage any land, as a rule of thumb, I probably try to get somewhere close to 10% of that land in food plots. That's just what I would like to do on any property I work on. So that's a goal for you to shoot for, I'd say. Do you feed protein pellets? I do not. I've thought about it. I'd be pretty interested in trying them out on the property to see if I could see a difference. We can't hunt overfeed or bait or anything here in Missouri, but during the off season, I think it'd be neat to see if it had any kind of impact on my deer here for sure. What hunting app would you recommend? Google Earth is good, but do you use or recommend a particular app? Now you're asking me for apps, so I'm pulling up the phone. Can you remember the one that I've got here? Here we go. Got a new phone, so hopefully I've downloaded it. Sorry, downloading it. I think, let's see what this one is. There we go. Hopefully it's got everything saved in here. Nope, I'm going to have to put it all back in here. But Scout Look is actually one that I use. I don't know if you guys can see it in there. It does a great job of putting like a scent cone out there. I can put multiple stand placements out there. It's a free app to download, and it's called Scout Look. Okay. I use Onyx Hunting. Jason, you have to buy a subscription, though. That's for, he's talking about topography. They do have some cool stuff. How many acres of plots do you have roughly? Right now, oh, that's a tough question. 1, 2, 3. I am probably close to 8 or 9 acres, I would say, of food plots right now. I have 91 acres, and I probably have 8 to 9 acres. Fixing to, with the money from the loggers, go clear out. It's probably going to be a 3 to 4 acre food plot on a ridge. So there'll be some more. What's the best poundage for a bow? Whatever you feel comfortable with that you can shoot and ethically take a deer. So I think this last year I shot at 70. Normally I even practice at 70, and then about during bow season I'll usually kick it back to like 65 because bow gets a little bit quieter, it's a little bit easier to pull back, and you know, when you're in that moment you can use every kind of advantage. Will 40 pounds kill a deer? My friend says so. I can't remember what the poundage is for a legal kill. I think in Arkansas it might be 40. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. But they wouldn't put that rule out there if it wasn't ethically good to kill deer with. So I'd say 40 pounds is probably pretty good. I have 3 small plots of land I can hunt. Can only put small kill plots. What do you recommend for these kill plots? Kill plots. It depends. It depends how much sunlight you got in there. It depends how large they are. Clover would be great. You can get any kind of like little throw and grows that have. They probably have some rye in it. Rye's really good, really quick growing. It's not real favored by the deer, but they eat it well, and it's going to give you some structure there. It's going to be green long. Winter wheat's easy to grow up. You can probably do some brassicas, some turnips, some radish in there. So any of those little throw and grows are pretty good for that. What's your favorite kind of bow? Right now we're shooting Bowtech. It jumps down and I lose all your guys' chats, so I have to keep going right back up. What's the right size for a food plot? However big that you can get it or small it needs to be. You just got to look at your land there. Learning a lot. Hope this becomes a regular thing. I hope you guys are learning because I'm kind of learning some things too about myself. Oh my gosh. See you later, says the Weekend Homestead. Okay. What is a super chat? Dave, I hopefully answered that earlier. Super chat. Just make sure that if I'm not seeing your chat before I get off video, it pulls it to the top and makes it noticeable. I will 100% for sure see it before I get off there. So if you have a question or something, you put a little funds to it and it pops up. Great videos. Thanks, Andrew. There you go. Weekend Homesteader. Wow, a lot of you guys are commenting, answering each other's questions on here, so I don't have to do anything. I live in Mississippi, says Michael, and my hunting lease borders, yeah. 2 big farms. Oh no, it jumped down. There are usually soybeans or corn planted there during the season. How can I get more deer to stay in my lease? So there you go. That's a good example of what I talked about earlier. So the areas surrounding you have soybeans and they have corn. Those are going to be harvested at some point in time. At that point, then you want to have the green food plots to come to you. So don't be worried, too early on in the summer, particularly too, if you're putting trail cameras out there that you don't have your big bucks on your property. They're going to harvest those pretty early in the season unless they leave some of it standing. But what I would suggest is try to go into your property and put what they do not have on their property. That way when their property is cut, you've got them coming in. I'd go in. I put a lot of late season stuff. I do turnip, a rape, a wheat. You can probably put some radishes in there. You can do some oats. Anything that's just a late season food plot, put it in there, and that way the deer are starting to come into there. Now, I do a food plot year round, so you do have deer knowing that there is a food source in there. So you can do something like a clover, or if it's large enough, you can even do a soybean or something during the summer. But have it year round, so deer are patterning themselves in there. They're using that area, so it's not a completely foreign concept for them come deer season to get in there. They know there's been a food source in there. Now it's green. Everything else is killed off and harvested. There you go. Hunt stand. Yeah, I've used hunt stand before. That's an app. What would you recommend to plant for an 8-acre shaded plot, highly organic matter and hybrid and rodent pressure? Ooh, that's going to be tough. So if you've got a really good organic matter on top of the soil, and here it's a small food plot, if you don't have the ability to no-till drill in there, that might be where the rolling method would come in really good. I did a video on that. You can take a look back. But you could probably go in there and broadcast about anything that you wanted to. You can do any kind of brassicas or grasses in there. Then go in after a rain, right before rain maybe, or right after rain. Go in there and broadcast, roll over it with something, and pack it into that soil, so therefore you aren't getting your rodents and your birds to get it. You've got enough organic matter on top that it's going to hold those seeds into place, and then with that moisture, you're going to get a quick germination. That would be my hint or tip there. That was from the CT Outdoorsman. Bow hunting for life. We have quite a bit. Wow. We have quite a bit of fescue on our place. What's the best way to get rid of it and encourage native growth? Oh my gosh, that's what I'm dealing with right now. Is some fescue in my clover plots, because I went through with the herbicide. I honestly can't remember the name. It's out there, and I'd have to look at it to pronounce it. But it is for broadleafs, and it doesn't kill my clover, and it does really well at killing most of the grasses in the food plot. But fescue, it has a harder time killing fescue. So recently, my clover plot, I noticed when I sprayed glyphosate in my fields to kill off my grasses and everything that was in it, just to do a complete kill, I noticed in some areas it had a really hard time killing the clover, or slower killing the clover, or didn't fully kill the clover. So I put a light amount of glyphosate in the mix with the clover, sprayed it. Not only did it kill all the grasses, but now it's killing the fescue that's in it, and I can tell very little disturbance to the clover. I think it's just going to barely disturb it, but it's going to bounce right back from it. Otherwise, I really don't know. I don't have a good suggestion for just going out in the field and spraying just fescue by itself. It's not something that I've tried yet. Have you tried antler growth spray? I have not. You know, I try to plant food plots. I don't do any kind of, I don't know if the antler growth spray, if you spray on the food plots, or if that's the one that you spray on native vegetation, it becomes more attractive to them. So, but I've not used it. Whitetail harvester. If I move up next to you, can I get a tour of your land, and can you take me hunting? I'll give you a tour of the land. And can I take you hunting? It depends if you kill the deer. Usually the kids or youth that I take hunting, it's them getting into the outdoors for the first time, or they never kill a deer. They don't have someone to take them into the outdoors. So otherwise I'd be busy taking everybody hunting all the time. Hey, I'm on the computer looking to join ProStep. I can't find how. I'm on your web page. That's from Hunter Cyrus. Hunter Cyrus, if you go all the way down to the bottom of thg-tv.com, there's a little PDF file there. You can just click it and say download, and it'll download. Gives you everything you can fill it out, email it back. Okay. Best food plot blend. That's been a topic that's been brought up a lot. Food plot blend right now, fall, I'd probably do, it's Eagle Seeds, Broadside, Scott, turnip, rape, wheat, soybean, and maybe something else in it. And then for summertime, I really like clover or soybean. Reed, 25 acres surrounded by tons of woods. We only get 1 to 2 year old bucks until the rut. We have thick sanctuary land and food plots. What can we do to attract 3 or 4 year old bucks? That's a tough question. What would I do in that situation? Not all these situations have I ever encountered, but I could tell you what I would probably do in that. So if I only have 1 to 2 year old bucks stand on my property, and I want 3 or 4 year old bucks, I don't know, I'd look at my deer population, see what you've got on there, see what your buck to deer ratio is, and see if you're just completely kind of overpopulated with deer. It seems like, for me, those 3 or 4 plus year old bucks, they kind of like to be on their lonesome for the most part. They do their own little thing. And I've seen properties that have high populations or high concentrations of deer on them really kind of bump them out. You don't really see them, and you figured you would because you have all these deer there, but you know, during the rut, that's when they're going to come in because they know that's where the does are. That's where the most highest concentration of deer is. So maybe that's the reason for it. I don't know. So therefore, you could maybe take some more deer out of your property and hold some of those older deer. Do you have a predator problem? If so, I really don't have a predator problem now. I get a few coyotes here and there on camera. I get a bobcat here and there on camera. We trap a lot of possums and coons and stuff during trapping season. So as far as nest predation, we do a pretty good job of knocking that out. How do I shoot a monster buck? A lot of time, a lot of time. I'll tell you that. Some people get lucky and just get out there and kill a monster buck. but you got to get out there, put a lot of time in, and you got to fail a lot of times and mess up a lot of hunts to get that one successful hunt. It's not planning a perfect food plot. It's not doing all this. It's doing your homework and learning from it. Putting your trail cameras out, finding where those bucks are, improving on your skills season after season, and then once you start honing in, then you can start getting some really good bucks underneath your belt, hopefully a whole lot quicker. That's from Reed. No, that was from Thomas. There you go. How often do you check your trail cameras without educating deer? Right now, I don't even have my trail cameras back off anywhere where I have to go knocking through the brush to get them and bumping all the deer out. So they're all right on the field edge. I have four-wheeler trails or my main driveway or a road that goes close enough I can get out and go check it and pull it back in. So I'm not going into the sanctuary areas. Half the time I can see them. Sometimes when I'm even driving the road, bedded up in the woods, I can go check the camera and they not even move. So, do you use lithium batteries in your spy point cameras? I don't. I don't use lithium batteries, and I have really good success with my spy point cameras. They really go a long time. I imagine with lithium batteries, you're going to get a lot longer use out of them for sure. Do you use mock scrapes? I do. Yeah, I use mock scrapes. I was going to say I pee in them because I do. So there you go. I pee in scrapes, and I have really, really good interaction with deer because of it, and I don't use a whole lot of deer pee or anything like that. What can I spray my clover to kill weeds? Take a look at, is it last week's video? It's last week's video. Go take a look at last week's video. It's the newest video other than this one, and I've got everything about spraying clover plots on there. Oh man, I'm trying to get through them. We have 7 minutes left of this live video. Then I'm going to cut it off, and I'll go back through, and I'll try to comment and answer some of these. I don't know if you live life to the fullest. What you're asking is available at local stores. So I'm sorry, I don't know what you're talking about. Sugar beets. I've never used sugar beets. You don't really see them much around this part of the Ozarks. I've heard sugar beets are really good. Sugar beet attractant. I've used that, and the deer seem to absolutely love it. I've heard a lot of good things about it. If you're more of an agricultural kind of area, I would definitely suggest it. I've never used them here. I don't know how they grow here. I'm trying winter bulbs on sugar beets this year. That ought to be awesome. The video is cutting off for me. There you go. There we go. When you're in the woods managing your land, what do you do to keep the ticks off of you and not be noticeable deer? Permethrin is what it's called. You can pick it up at Walmart. It's a little yellow bottle. Don't spray it on yourself. Spray it on your clothing. Allow it to dry. It stays for like multiple washes. It actually kills the ticks. And I've used it all turkey season. I hunted 4 different states, and I hunted tons of days, and I had 1 tick. But it's permethrin. It's in a little yellow bottle, and it'll have black writing on it, and it's actually supposedly scentless when it's dry. That's from Chris Stidham. Thanks for answering my questions. Love the Q&A idea. Thanks, Bow Hunting for Life. I really appreciate you being interactive on here. Appreciate you all. Have you used Denver deer scents? I have not. Sorry, I was away last week. Live life this full. Yep, no problem. Catch up on the videos. We got a lot of them on there for you guys. Can you design a camo THG sweatshirt? You bet so. We've got sweatshirts coming out this fall. We've got a ton of stuff. We're going to a whole new company, and we have a whole new product line that's just going to blow your socks off. And there might actually be THG socks to blow off. We don't know. But there's going to be a whole bunch. So that's coming soon. It's probably our product line that we got out there right now on our website is probably going to stop here shortly. And we've got to have some downtime to build up and to recoup and get everything going with this new company. So, how far off of food plots do you put your stands? Around here, not very far. I like to be far enough in the woods that I kind of get some concealment and I can get some nice windows to shoot from, but I'm not right on the edge where I can be silhouetted really easily. But I'm also around here in the Ozarks. I'm on very steep hill slopes. And so when you get to the top and you finally get that little point on the top that's flat and that's where a food plot is, I'm usually hunting right on the edge. So I'm not very far off there. Just saw this. Howdy, Matt. Says mole science, I guess is how you mole sense. We're fixing to get off here. You guys have 4 minutes and I'm going to be leaving. Did you set up your blinds and tree stand with good access points on the hunting grounds? You bet. Every single one of them. I try to put that into mind when I'm hunting these food plots. I like to be able to walk a logging road and just hop off of it, or my driveway, or a four-wheeler path, or just have some good access points where I can walk barely in, like out of the edge of a field, so I'm covered up, get into the tree stand, it can hop up. Yeah, so I put a lot of thought. We're going to have a video coming up soon that's going to be all trails, deer stand. It's going to be all deer stand placements and why we've got them, where we've got them, kind of deal. That should be coming up pretty soon. Can you keep doing these Q&As often? It really helps. Thanks. Yes, you bet. If you guys like it, make sure you guys give a thumbs up on this video. Comment down below that you want to see more of these, and we'll do it. And the videos will just get bigger and better. We'll have a better camera and better background lighting and everything else, so it'll look a lot better. Weekend homestead. He's back. What do you think of throw and grow? It works. I have my kill plot's got some in it right now. I like it. I use it in a lot of my kill plots. So I do like throw and grow, and it does work well. So especially if you do good soil preparation. How often do you shoot your bow for practice? So right now, not so much, because I'm busy building a house by myself, working full-time job, and working the show full-time. But here pretty soon, I'll be getting a new bow, and then I'll start practicing maybe once a week, doing a little bit of shooting here and there. How many acres do you own? I own 91, Justin. Tissue socks. That's funny. You guys are hooked on the socks now. Looks like your big plot is pretty close to the house. Are you big? Keep them sent away, guy, or do you think that needs? No, we actually use so we have nose jammer, which is awesome. If you guys have never used nose jammer, you got to use it. I haven't been busted by a deer in like 4 or 5 years since I've used it. I'm not even lying. And then we'll also be using attractants, such as like the wind scent, and they have and their wind scent grenade. It's more of a wind detector, but it also has scent. Let's see, here it goes. There it goes. You see it. But I am a big scent guy. Like, I don't like having a whole lot of scent. I wash in nose jammer, I spray in nose jammer, and I go out there, and it's pretty close to the house. Deer are used to me working around here and stuff, so it's not as big of a deal, but I still spray down religiously every time. When's your next giveaway? Don't know when next giveaway is. Dang, not let me type on the pro staff deal. Well, you can figure it out. You should be able to open up on different things on there. So I have 1 minute. I'm trying to go through these really quick. What poundage do you think is fast enough for your bow to kill a deer? I think 40 in a lot of states is like the legal limit. I'm not for sure. Thanks, Stephen, for all your info and time. Keep up the great work. Dave, thank you for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. Appreciate every single one of you that take the time to get on here and watch this. This is awesome. What's your full-time job, working with kids? No, I actually do, for a sponsor of the show, Jotto Gear. You can look up jottogear.com. I am their video producer and their their social media kind of moderator. I do all their social media. I do all their video production for them. There you go. It is 9 o'clock, guys. So I'm going to sign out for the first time on our first ever scheduled live video here on YouTube. So we're going to start doing this hopefully every single Monday, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. Tune in and go back and watch all our other videos. I produce one video at least a week, every single week of the year. So go check it out. Like the Weekend Homesteader said, give us a thumbs up. Comment down below. Tell me what you guys want to see this next video so I can put it out there and we can have another fun talk. And we're going to let you guys go. So I do appreciate it. Appreciate every single one of you guys. Till next time, have a better than average day.